Hi, I'm Mitra Motamedi. I'm a family physician working and living in beautiful Vancouver, BC, Canada. This is the first video on this channel. I want to start with some points about ADHD, what ADHD is. The way I like to describe ADHD is that people with ADHD have a Ferrari brain with a bicycle brake. So your brain goes, and it's very difficult to stop, or it's very difficult to being able to keep your attention in just one place. It's just shifting here and there all the time. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is a disorder. There is a delay in connection between different parts of brain. I can tell you later how that shows itself. And there is a delay in maturation of brain, and so on. So there are some organic issues in brain of people who are living with ADHD. I see ADHD as a spectrum. So there are some people who have like a very mild ADD. They only have attention problems, and they can be very smart, high IQ, and they can push through their life. They can have good grades when they are in school. If they have good supportive environment and family members, they can really do well. Until at some point in their life, when the pressures are high, when they are promoted to higher positions, or when COVID, like pandemic, hits and everything change in their life. Now they have to work at home instead of working in an office with no supervision, no structure. They start struggling. I think that's one of the reasons since COVID we have been seeing so many people complaining of ADHD and raising awareness and all that since COVID. I think that's because of the effects of COVID on people's lives. So there's some one part of this spectrum. At the other side of the spectrum, I have patients who have severe attention problems. They have severe hyperactivity, impulsivity, and executive dysfunction and emotional dysregulation. They have been living with disability all their life. They could not ever hold a job or hold a relationship. They are not happy. They are not in a good situation. So that's the other side of the spectrum. We don't know where you are in that spectrum. It's when it comes to diagnosis talk, we will get there. It is not as easy as we think. If I go back onto DSM-5 criteria, I don't think that's enough in definition for ADHD. There's so much more to that I'm seeing in practice. ADHD includes some symptoms and some behaviors that the symptoms have been since they were born, and the behaviors all relates to the way these people are grown up, the condition, how supportive their like upbringing has been. I see many people with ADHD who are grown up in a totally dysfunctional family situation with no support, and they get some behaviors, they get some way, the different way of looking at everything that medications alone may not help them to correct or rewire their brain, change the way they look at things from the way they have been all their life to a new way of living, a new way of seeing things. So medications will deal with that organic part of the brain, but we also need to practice and see. We need to have coaches. We need to practice some skills to learn the executive function, how to control our emotions, etc., etc. So ADHD is highly, highly inheritable. So if you have ADHD, the chances that at least one of your parents has ADHD is quite high, or your children, or your sibling. So we need to keep that in mind. I rarely see ADHD alone. Most of the times, people with ADD, with attention-only issues, or ADHD, both hyperactivity, impulsivity, and attention issues, most of the times they have other symptoms, other conditions, other disorders, like different things, different levels of comorbidities together with ADHD. And it's quite understandable. Imagine a child who cannot keep their attention in class. They are worried all the time, so of course they will have anxiety. Of course, a grown-up adult, when there are like projects due, they have deadlines. They have been procrastinating. They have been putting things off up until the last day or last minutes. Now they are anxious, of course, because of lifelong pressures. They get depression symptoms. But other than that, there are also some organic disorders, comorbidity, like bipolar disorder, autism. I see many people with ADHD comorbid with autism. I'm learning about autism myself too, because it's very, very interesting. And we will talk about every single disorder with ADHD. How do we diagnose? How do we differentiate them? I'm seeing so many women who are misdiagnosed, or I would say labeled as a borderline personality disorder patient. But all I see in them is severe emotional dysregulation of ADHD, and which is, I can't tell 100% treatable. They need DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, or other things to correct things, but medications alone can help them significantly change. So yes, we will, in our next video, we will talk about diagnosis of ADHD.